have a story to tell. Everyone is different as well. You have something to say. Your story matters too. Your story matters too.
Good evening and welcome to our first episode of My Story Matters. Tonight the interview will be with Alyssa, Preston, and myself, Lois, Rindlisbacher. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, just hearing a story about two lives and what life has done for us and with us. Thank you for joining us. Well, this is pretty exciting. We're doing an education series, a series with intergenerational people getting together to discuss their lives, the stories of our lives. That's what this program is all about. And I am very grateful and very honored to be able to do this interview with you, Alyssa, Preston. I've known you for a number of years, and doing this is going to just you're going to have a better insight into who Lois Rindlisbacher really is.
Yes.
So we've been given this series of questions, and I think that looking at them, about me, basic facts, life history, some really good things to be talking about or discussing. Mm-hmm. But I suggest that we start with the basic facts.
Yeah. And
I'm going to get to learn about you just as you're going to be able to learn about me. So This is awesome. And hopefully people will learn and glean. To be honest with you, I'm thinking, this will probably be around the funeral when I go in 30 or 40 years. Because it's going to be everything.
It will be.
But but literally I wish people did more of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you go to funerals and that's where you learn so much about the person that you thought you knew, and you're like, whoa. Didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But isn't that what life is about?
Yes.
Just trying to get through our days, do the best we can with what we got, and try to make a difference in other people's lives. I think that's the key for me anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get into the interview process, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Sounds good? All right.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Preston, and I'm here with Lois Rindlisbacher, and we hope you enjoy this intergenerational interview. So, I am 19 years old. I live in Windsor. I only speak English. That is the only language. No second languages or anything. My highest level of education is a high school diploma right now, but I'm working on a business degree at the University of Windsor right now. I'm a Christian, and favorite sports, I would say, would be volleyball and hockey. I've played volleyball for a number of years, but I just love watching hockey.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my basic facts. The question, how old are you? The thought that I'm 65 years old just makes me cringe because I don't feel like I'm that number.
You don't look like you're 65
Well, thank you.
either. I did not know that.
Oh, see, there you go. This is one of those questions. I'm like 65. It's such a big number.
Yeah.
But thanks to our daughter, and granddaughter, and people like you in our lives, it keeps me young. So I'm that number, but I don't feel that number. Yeah. I've lived in Windsor all my life. I have an older sister, an older brother, and a younger sister. And the three of them all left Windsor years ago, but I chose to stay in Windsor. I stayed with my dad. My mother died when I was quite young. She was I was 18. She was only 51. But we'll get into some of that later. But so yeah, I love Windsor. A lot of people just can't wait to get the heck out of here, but I love Windsor. I think it's got all that we need. It's got a Shoppers and a Walmart and good churches, and I work at a great restaurant. What more does a woman need, right? That's the way I look at it. I only speak really English. I've never really had an interest in learning other languages.
Yeah.
It just hasn't interested me. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that one.
Yeah.
What is my highest level of education? I actually have a degree in business.
Okay.
I wish I could have just given it to you because I did use it for a little while. I went to Assumption High School, and then I went to the University of Windsor I did 4 years and 3, so I have an honors degree in business.
Okay.
And I did work in the business field. I worked at a billboard company for a few years and at a printing company. But all the while, I started out in a restaurant. When I was 13 years old, I walked into what was then Milano restaurant on Tecumseh Road. And I said, I'm looking for a job. I was in grade 9, and I was tall and bigger, and the guy basically hired me on the spot. So that was grade 9, 1972. And here I am 52 years later in the same industry and still loving it.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people, I think, can say that. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm again, we'll get into some of those questions later, but I'm very grateful. That's one of the questions. It says gratitude. What are you thankful for or grateful for? I'm very grateful that God has allowed me to love my job as much as I do and enjoy the processes. And I've only really worked in 3 restaurants. So I've been, very loyal and very dedicated, which is another question. What's 3 words that describe me? I keep getting ahead of myself, don't I? Okay, we will get there. Highest level of education. Do I identify with a particular faith? Absolutely. I am a born-again Christian. I attend a Baptist church. I love the Lord Jesus Christ with all of my heart, and not afraid to say that and be quite happy with knowing who I am in Christ. Do I identify with a race, ethnicity, or culture? Not really. I'm a white Anglo-Saxon, Canadian, all-around girl. That's it. Play or follow sports. I swim for recreational purposes. I try to once a week. I'm very grateful. I will talk about my husband in as we get on to more questions, but I don't follow sports, neither does he, so I don't have to be bothered with that. So, and I'm happy about that. Yeah, I've never really understood the craze for sports that, just, and people go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Very crazy, they say.
Yes. All right.
All right, so I really enjoyed this question. Name 3 words that best describe you. So I'm curious to hear what your 3 words are.
Okay, so mine might be a little surprising. So the first one I would say is loyal. Like I'm very loyal, to everybody that is important to me in my life. Like that's just so important to me. I'm also adventurous, which I guess some people would not expect.
No.
But I do love a good adventure or trying something new or something like that.
That's awesome.
And then the third word I would say dedicated.
Okay, so seriously, did you read my notes?
No.
Okay, so my first word was organized. I'm just a very organized person.
Yeah.
I like things in order. I like, shelves or books on a shelf, alphabetized.
Yep.
My room, I like organization.
Yeah.
But my other 2 words, exactly yours, loyal. And even talking about where I've worked, I've been a loyal and dedicated kind of. I thought, which one do I use, loyal or dedicated?
Yeah.
I've just been a very loyal, dedicated person all my life. I stayed in the business that I'm in, since I was 13, now that I'm 65. Worked only in 3 restaurants, and the only reason why I moved from one to the other is 2 of them both closed.
Yeah.
So I was, went from Milano's to the Olive Garden. So from 72 to 92 at Milano's, 92 to 97 at the Olive Garden. And again, the only reason why I moved from there is because they closed the doors, and I was transferred to the Red Lobster because it was owned by the same company.
Okay.
So very loyal, very dedicated.
Yeah.
What was your 3rd word?
Adventurous.
Adventurous, yeah. Yeah, I can be very adventurous. I love a good adventure. But yeah, it's been having met Ian and having a daughter. I was 42 when I had my first, last, and only child.
Okay.
She's made me very adventurous. We've gone to Japan, and we've done a lot of traveling that I never would have done.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I never would have done had I not had Jessica or met Ian.
Yeah.
We wrote the words to our wedding song, and one of the chorus part is, life is an adventure, moments we will treasure.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at our lives now, just one big happy adventure.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. An interesting fact that others may not know about you. So you said that you're adventurous. Yeah,
so I put for interesting fact, I actually am kind of artsy. So I love in my free time, I love painting and cross stitch as well. which is what my Nana got me
I was
into
just, that's an old
cross-stitch.
lady thing to do.
It is. I'm a bit of an old lady at heart now.
An old soul, they
An
say.
old soul, yeah.
Yeah.
So love to do cross stitch, and then painting just is like such like it calms me down. Like
Nice.
it's just a good like relaxing
Yep.
activity, de-stress.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
Most people don't know that.
No, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And I've never seen you do cross stitching when we come over. So.
No.
Facts that people don't know about me. There's not a whole lot that people wouldn't know about me. I'm a pretty open person. You know, what you see is what you get. I think maybe probably some people would think I live maybe a boring-ish life. You know, I get up, go to work, come home, hang out with my husband. Jessica, my daughter, moved to Waterloo. That's but we'll get to that one. But but I love our life. You know, I love my job. I absolutely adore my husband, and so yeah, I don't have too much about me that people wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And what are our talents? What are your talents?
Talents, ballet. Actually,
Cool.
I took ballet for 7 years of my life,
Oh,
and then I quit before I started high school, and I just a couple months ago got back into it again, and I'm loving it. So.
that would be an interesting fact that I wouldn't have known
Yeah.
about you. That's a good one.
Yeah, so ballet, still like to play the piano, and then the painting too. I feel like I'm actually decent at painting.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any work up in your house yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's
good.
a couple of paintings up in my
Okay.
house. I had to think about that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Your
What
best
about you?
talents. My best talents. Well, because I met Ian in 2010, so about 14 years now. He's a musician. He is a composer and producer. He produces music. So he's brought me alongside him, and we write music and do things together. So I would never have tapped into a fact that I could write, I would say poetry, but in the vernacular it'd be write lyrics for songs. So we've written a couple of cantatas, and like I said, we wrote our own wedding song.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I had that talent, but again, because I have this incredible husband who feeds me positivity all the time, and we feed off each other. He says, I think we're each other's best cheerleaders, which is a really good place to be.
Yeah. For
Yeah, I never knew I could do that, and so that's pretty exciting for me.
sure. Yeah.
So I would say that. I also never thought I would do much with photography. My sister was a photographer,
Okay.
but I kind of like a closet photographer.
Yeah, I did not know you
No,
did
yeah,
photography.
yeah,
That's cool.
and I've done weddings,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm doing a baby shower on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
But what I really love is taking all the pictures and then putting it into a photo book.
Oh, yeah.
So that's often my gift to the people, because it's it can be a little expensive to do that, but I really enjoy doing that, just pulling it all together. And when people say, what do you want as a gift, I'm like, okay, if I can't consume it, I have to dust it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But this, I feel, is something that shows those memories. Life is an
Yes.
adventure, moments we will treasure,
Yes.
and this book has those
Be able
treasures.
to look back
That's
on
right.
good memories.
Our granddaughter, we've done, I just finished her third book, and she comes in the house and she runs over to the little desk where the books are at, and she just loves looking at herself and seeing these little pictures of, that's when I was a baby, and she's 3, she's
Yeah.
still a baby. Well, actually now she's 4, but now that she's all grown up, right? So it's really fun. So I think that would be a talent that I didn't really know that I had, but I guess I have. So yeah.
Good. So we can move on to the next question then. So what was your living situation like growing up?
When I think about my childhood in general, sometimes this is where I pull the 65 card. Like, I don't remember some things, but I do remember a lot. We lived on Parkwood Avenue, and I think some of my favorite things about the area growing up is that everybody knew everybody, and we kept our doors open. That I remember for sure. We'd go out in the morning, and I'd go down the block to Mrs. Reitberg's house, and you just knocked on the door, and sometimes you didn't even have to knock on the door, but you just say, we're here.
Yeah.
And it was really different back then. Now, I don't think I could name neighbors on either side or across. I just honestly can't.
No.
And I've lived in this same house now for since 81, 33 years.
Yeah.
It might even be 43 years now that I think of it. But yeah, a long time. And I really don't.
Yeah.
But growing up, that's what I remember. And my dad coming home and him swinging me around. You know, we have run into his arms and we do this little swing thing. That's something I remember.
Yeah.
I had a great, stable, wonderful home. Great mom, great dad. Like I said, my mom died very young. She was only 51. I was 18. But from then we moved from Parkwood, and we only moved 4 blocks over from Parkwood to Gladstone.
Okay.
And it was nice because it wasn't like picking up our whole life and moving.
Right.
You know, it was from the same grade school and then into high school. So I like that.
Yeah.
You hear stories about some people that they've lived in so many places.
Yes.
And have you?
And I've lived in the same house since I was born.
Yeah, there you go.
So, which I'm grateful for.
Absolutely.
Because I don't like big changes. So
Yeah. No,
I like
me either.
my childhood, like super grateful because I had like the most like stable family, like
Nice.
super loving,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
love my parents, and
Yeah.
same house, and like
Yeah.
I love my siblings. I get on my nerves sometimes, but
Yeah.
I love them.
Part
so,
of life. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I mean, I would say I know like talking to my parents, they said growing up, like their neighborhoods were like, oh, you knew everybody,
Yeah.
or you lived closer to your family, or you could just go over to people's houses.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like I don't live close to many of my friends,
Mm.
and we know maybe like 2 of our neighbors,
Yeah.
and that's it,
Yeah.
right? Like you just
Yeah.
don't talk to people, aren't as friendly maybe
Right.
as they used
Yeah.
to be, or people are closed off.
I think it's busyness. I think
Yeah,
busyness
could
has
be.
just choked us all.
yeah,
You know, that's the way I look at it.
yeah.
You know, people don't have time. They don't take the time
No.
to stop
To
and
stop
say
and-
hello to your
yeah.
neighbors. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but it
It
is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Fond memories looking back. What are my fond memories or what are yours? Fond memories to look back at. Well, I think we both answered in good
Yeah.
childhoods, and yeah, you got a ways to go to catch up though.
I would say for me, I had like a couple of different things like that my family did for me that were like fond memories. So the first one was birthday parties. My parents would go like all out on the birthday parties. Like I had, do you remember Waterworld?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I used to have my birthday parties there. They'd like, so we get like the whole like thing to ourselves.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then you could have like cake and presents and everything in another room. And my friends were always like so excited when it was my birthday because I kind of
That's
had like
awesome.
the best parties, right?
Yep.
And then we always made sure we take like a couple of vacations every year, even if they were just like small trips. But like I remember almost every trip I've taken with my family.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I can see for me, I would say that part it would be and especially talking about birthday parties
Yeah.
is now what I've done for Jessica. That she had great
Yeah.
parties growing up.
Yeah.
Everybody was invited.
Yeah.
And it was Waterworld, church things,
Yes.
Disney World. We went to Disney World. Like we did a lot of
Yeah.
So that's really important. Those
It
years
is.
growing up and the
Yeah.
memories of them. So
exactly.
yeah, fair.
So what would you say has been your greatest adventure?
I think just I have no other words other than to say marrying Ian. Yeah, I think that would, honest to God, be my greatest adventure. Is that I met this incredible man, and it was, a lot of people talk about the whole love at first sight, but there was definitely something at first sight, a spark, a fire. Well, actually, in our wedding song, it said, "From a flicker to a flame. On this day I take your name." That was our wedding song. But yeah, he's taken me on this great adventure. Just being able to do things that I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
With writing music, doing this, this intergenerational fun stuff that I've now been introduced to, and how important it is to be in learning about people just for the sake of learning about people and not being too busy to not do this,
Yeah.
So I would say Ian, and that's been my greatest adventure. Yeah. The next question's interesting. What are the most significant events you've ever been witness to? What'd you come up with that one?
I came up with COVID-19 for that one
Ah.
because it really affected my high school experience.
Very good.
Yeah, like COVID started like in the middle of grade 9, and so I did not have like a normal high school experience until like my senior year.
Wow.
So I missed out on like a lot of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought that, but
exactly.
yeah, COVID changed our lives forever, eh?
It did. It really did.
Yeah. No, and the whole high school experience was taken from you, basically,
it really
right?
was.
Did you have to do most of it online at home?
Most of it was online. Yeah, there would be times where you'd go back to school for a couple weeks, and they're like, "And we're going back online again."
Yeah.
You're like, "Okay."
Well, and your mother was
There's
the
nothing you can do
principal.
about it. Yes.
How do you find that in your everyday?
Honestly,
Now that you're gone,
now
but
that
still.
I'm gone, it doesn't really affect me that
Yeah.
much, except for if she's out with the car and I can't use the car. But
that's important.
it is. Yeah. I'm gonna get my own car eventually.
There you go.
I would say like when I was in school, it was just like long days. Like most
because
kids,
you have to probably wait for her at the end of the day.
to get there early and then wait at the end of the day. Most
Fair.
kids, they just show up at the start of class and they just like leave, and I would be there like an hour before class started, and then like wouldn't get home till like dinner time. It was just very long days, and yeah.
But you have a good dad who makes dinner, so dinner was
do.
waiting for you.
Dinner was waiting for me.
That's a real blessing.
It really is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I would have said I saw. I was married before, which I never ever thought I would actually get divorced, but unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But when I was with Paul, we were coming home from church one day, and we saw an airplane, and we saw it spiraling, and then we didn't see it anymore.
Oh.
So he followed the trail,
Yeah.
and a gentleman had built his own airplane and crashed.
Oh.
And we were the first people on the scene.
Wow.
That was really awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
And Paul tried to shield me from seeing the whole thing because the man's body, his leg was shredded open, and it was awful. So I'd say that was the most significant event. And I was in the newspaper. That was kind of cool. But that was it.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
This is interesting to ask a 19-year-old, but we'll go with that.
Which one were you?
Is there anything you had wished you had done in your life?
Oh.
Your life is just about to start.
I know. I'm like, I don't even have an answer for this one written down.
Fair.
Because I'm like, I can't really think of anything, to be honest with you. What about yourself?
You know what? I don't have a lot of regrets. I really don't. At one point, I would have said I didn't know what a little Paul and a little Lois would look like, and then at 42, I had this thing that came out of my body, and best thing that ever happened to me. But I didn't know what joy a baby could bring to your life and all that kind of stuff. So, but I really don't have regrets. There's not a whole lot of things. I mean, I would have wished to have met Ian earlier and had a child with him perhaps, but that's not how God orchestrated our lives. And I really don't have any things that I wish I had done and I didn't, or regrets. So no.
Yeah, same for me. I don't know. Nothing really came to mind.
Yeah.
For that.
Fair.
I tried to think about it, and I was like, I don't know, nothing.
Yeah, good.
There's really nothing so far.
Yeah. So, you may have those along the way.
Maybe later,
That's it.
See.
That's
it.
Right.
Yeah. So now going into the gratitude section, what are you thankful for?
First and foremost, I thank the Lord for saving me, for choosing me. It empowers people to know that you are so loved and so prayed for in the family of God kind of thing. So first and foremost, I would by all means say my salvation and who I am in Christ, along with Ian and Jessica and family and friends and the people I work with. So people, then it goes into the, what are you most proud of? I would say definitely Jessica. Like, I've definitely made an impact in that young lady's life. And then I think of the people that I've worked with over the years. I'd like to think that I've made a difference in their lives. I think I'm more bold now at my age and stage where if somebody, like just yesterday, somebody said, you know, I don't know if he actually said, you know, can you pray for me? Or he said, you know, I'm praying that I'm going to do well, and he was taking an exam. And I said, well, Josh, let's pray right now.
Yeah.
And I've never really ever been that bold, but
Yeah.
I've gotten there. So I'm happy about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the next part being what brings you the most joy, all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
How about for you?
Yeah, for me, I would say what you're thankful for. I put like Jesus.
Yeah.
First and foremost, like I'm really grateful that I have a relationship with him. That
Yep.
it's continuing to grow still.
Yeah.
And then just family, loved ones.
Yeah.
Like I'm just really grateful for the people God has put in my life.
There you go.
They're all amazing.
Yeah. That's so fun.
And then what do you feel most proud of in your life? I would say just things that I've accomplished in my life, like I'm almost done my first year of university.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I still have scholarships and everything, which is not easy to maintain, and it's easy to like kind of burn out and lose motivation.
Yeah.
But like I'm still proud of like how well I've done.
Good
so
for
far.
you. Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you.
And then for what brings me joy, I would say starting ballet again has really brought me joy.
That's good.
And I'm going to a Christian dance school. Actually,
Nice. Oh, that's good.
It's amazing. Like my
Yes.
teacher is great. Like
Nice.
so it's just a very like positive. It's like Christian environment. You do devotionals and everything
Nice.
and pray for each other. And so that has really kind of sparked joy in my life.
I didn't know that existed in Windsor.
I know. Yeah, it's fairly new. Anila actually goes there
Oh, that's
as
awesome.
well.
So
But
where is
yeah,
it at?
It's on Erie Street.
And what's
Yeah,
it
it's called
called?
Steps of Faith.
Nice.
It's great. It's a
Shout out
great
for
place.
Steps for Faith.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Love it.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And then also just I would say helping others. Like last year I went on a mission trip to Guatemala, and like I loved it. Like
That's
it
awesome.
I would go back in a heartbeat. Like
Oh,
next
wow.
chance I get. Like I loved it. Like helping the kids. It was a school, like a
Yep.
Christian school.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And just helping with their English classes and stuff, and like worshiping with the kids during devotions, like loved it.
Nice.
So yeah,
What do you hope to do with your degree?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I
And why
really
did you
don't.
go into business?
I went into business because I was like very interested in marketing,
Oh, okay.
and I still am sort of. But now that I've been exposed to a lot more different things, I'm kind of like I really don't know what
yeah.
I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just still plugging away at it, but I've got time to figure it out.
Oh, for
still,
sure.
So, yeah,
I only went into business because I started working when I was 13,
yeah,
and business is all I knew.
yeah,
You know, and I didn't want to be a nurse or a doctor or
yeah. Well, I wasn't
Indian,
interested
you know,
in
I
that.
want to say doctors,
Engineering
lawyers,
and-
and just,
Yeah,
none of that interested me. And I, you know, right from the get-go loved what I was doing. So I
Yeah.
just thought business, and I did use my degree, like I say, a little bit in sales and marketing. And I mean, really to this day, I still use it. I did another a grant with another lady, and I needed to know some of the marketing angles. And life is so different now, too, actually, I graduated in 1981.
yeah.
So life is way different now
It is.
from back then.
Yeah,
But, yeah, it is what it is, right?
it is. Yeah. Okay, so the next section is life lessons. So, what gives your life meaning and purpose?
Well, I think we've covered that
We know
real
the
well.
answer. Yes.
Jesus, husband, family,
Yeah.
you know, meaning and purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like this question. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Although I didn't really come up with anything, I had to, I think of my dad. He said, your life lies before you like a sheet of frozen snow. Be careful how you tread it, for every step will show. So that really resonated with me, and even into the favorite quote or life motto. And not, I want to say, obviously, for me, my favorite whatever would be Bible verses.
Yeah.
I bet yours and mine would be similar going by this interview we've just done.
Oh, yeah.
But all right, what's yours?
So mine is actually a Bible verse.
Okay,
And it's
I knew
my
that.
dad is actually the one that has to say this to me when I start to get stressed out about things.
Philippians 4:6 and 7.
No, but
Oh.
that is one of the ones that I go back to a lot.
Okay.
But Matthew 6:34, do not
Oh.
worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself.
Perfect stuff.
Each day has enough trouble of its
Its
own.
own. And mine's be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace of God that passes all understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. So I knew we were going to be on the same page.
Yes, exactly.
I also like Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. So
that's a good one.
that was,
Yeah, for sure.
And then we get into the next part, dealing with challenges. You probably haven't had too many challenges in your life, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I did come up with some answers, but they're not extremely deep or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But still, you know, at your 19 years of age, they are challenges,
They
right?
are challenges.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we could start with this question first, but I also feel like, how do you get through tough times and where do you find comfort? I feel like maybe ask that last and start with
Sure.
what losses have you experienced and how, like, did you deal with that loss?
Mm-hmm. So now are you asking me that?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
clearly that was my mom. Losing my mother, I've never, that would have been like by far the biggest challenge that I ever had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, watching her die. She worked at Assumption.
Okay.
The people I went to school with, grade school with, went to Kennedy and Brennan mostly,
Okay.
and I went to Assumption. I knew absolutely nobody on the day I entered into grade 9 high school.
Oh.
But in grade 12, and then we went back for 13, but I was prom queen in grade 12.
Oh,
I knew
cool.
everybody knew me.
Yeah.
I loved being, I'm at high school were 4 of my best years of my life, actually 5 best years of my life. Too bad that they cut that out, because that was I think the year you kind of grew up, grade 13.
Yeah.
You guys are so young going to university. But
Yes.
anyway, having said that, she died when I was in grade 13, and I was close to my mother, not nearly as close as what Jessica and I are.
Okay.
So I can't imagine the day that, like just thinking about that, I just fall apart, to tell you the truth. But and being 42 when I had her, I lost a lot of years. You know, Paul and I were married, I was 23. So had I done things normal, like most normal people, I would have a 40-year-old child at this time in my life. But I know it is what it is. But definitely that was challenging for me, you know, losing my mother. But that is how I came to faith in Christ. I said, if, you know, my mother just died, you know, I'll not know that my mother just died, and why is the world still going on?
Yeah.
But it continued to go on. And I said, if there's purpose and meaning to life, I want to know that. I want to know why this happened, maybe, and where am I going from here? And God used, you know, a variety of ways to answer that. But I met Paul on a campus when I was in university. He gave me a little Gideon Bible.
Okay.
And reading that, I'm like, wow, there is purpose and meaning to life because of who Christ is and what He did for us. So that was, you know, it was the biggest challenge, but it was also my greatest, I don't even know what the right word is, my greatest, not adventure, or I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the...
Yeah, consequence, but it wasn't really a consequence. Greatest realization. I don't know what the right word is. Yeah, but it is. But it is. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I haven't really had any, like, significant losses in my life yet.
No grandmothers, grandfathers?
No, so my grandparents on my mom's side are still alive and quite well, and then my dad's mother is still alive.
Yep.
My grandpa on my dad's side, he passed away, like, in his 30s to cancer, so I never got to meet him.
Yeah.
I did lose my great-grandmother in grade 8, and I wasn't, like, super close with her, but, like, it was sad, but it wasn't, like, something that was, like, extremely, like, significant to me, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I haven't really experienced any
fair
losses, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad.
Count your blessings.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
But, yeah. So, is there anything in your life you feel is a struggle for you, like, right now?
Nope. I read that, you know, when I read that, I thought, no, you know what? I'm very grateful that God has allowed this body to keep working after all these years. and have aches and pains like normal 65-year-olds. But I'm not a normal 65-year-old, so my shoulder hurts once in a while, and if that's the worst, life is good. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm grateful that there's no illnesses. I was talking to a guest today. She always comes in and asks for me, and so does her sister. And I said, I'm very grateful that when Sandy comes in, she always asks for me. And she said, well, you're not going to see her anymore. And I said, pardon? She said, yeah, she's got cancer. She's got weeks to live. And I said, how old is she? 61.
Wow.
So and I said, boy, just like that, life changes.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I feel like on any extreme struggles, I just feel like for me it's just staying motivated to just like do my best. And so these last like it's a month and a half, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're getting very close and you're like, oh, like I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, just staying motivated I think is kind of my biggest struggle right now.
Fair.
Yeah.
And it is, and it is a struggle. And, Jessica's feeling that she's in her 5th year of university, almost done. And I try to encourage her and pray for her and just keep going. It's an adventure.
Yes, it definitely is an adventure.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what are some personal strengths that you would say have helped you get through different things in your life?
I'd say my faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would be, and I think just how God made me. Actually, my stepmother. If I had to say one thing about my stepmother that really helped me through life in general, she had 2 words. Oh well. And I'm like, I like those 2 words.
Yeah.
Because life can't be all that bad, or whatever. Well, what are you gonna do? You're 42 years old and you're gonna have a baby. Oh well, I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, I just still can't believe I was 42 and had a baby, but that was because you're thinking, how has your life changed? Have you changed, and have you changed in ways that you wouldn't have if you hadn't had this experience? Oh my goodness. I would not be the person I am today if I didn't have Jessica at the age and stage that I did in life.
Yeah.
Having done vacation Bible school for years, did them probably for about 14 or 15 years. And that's where I really pray and hope that I made a difference in other people's lives.
Yeah.
Just kids and having the kids to do that with. So
yeah, for sure.
that is really, yeah. So having her and how it's changed me in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's face the future together.
Okay, let's do it.
What are your hopes and dreams for myself? I'm just hoping to keep working as long as I can. And people, Paul had asked me that quite a bit, and sometimes we talk about, I'm just happy just doing life.
Yeah.
Getting through the everyday stages. I mean, there's a funeral on Saturday here for Mr. Craig Contract.
Yeah.
He just was fine one day and he's dead now.
Yeah.
So, what? I'm just happy to plug through the days.
Life and
Yeah. How about for you?
For me?
Yeah. Hopes and dreams. Boy, to be 19 again and to look at this question.
I know, yeah.
So, what are they?
So, I want to find, a fulfilling career. Now, this has changed a lot because if you'd asked me, even a year ago, I would have said, I want a corporate job. I wanted to live in a big city, right?
Oh.
And that has changed significantly for me. I've realized, I do not like big cities.
Wow.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to work, a 80-hour work week to make lots of money. That's not really a priority for me anymore.
Yeah. Did you learn that from your Guatemala trip?
No, I learned that when I think I officially learned it. I went to New York in October, and I did not enjoy myself.
The big city, the big life, the big everything.
No, I did not like it. It was not for me. And I was like, hey, this is not, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And,
good that you realized that.
Good that I realized it now instead of, working towards that and then realizing it.
Yeah. What did you go to New York for?
Just, my grandma got me a trip there as a grad gift.
Oh, nice.
June. Yeah, so we went for, we were in New York for a week, but we were only in New York City for a few days.
You and your grandma? Or just the 2 of you
went
together?
Just the 2 of us.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Good. It was a blessing in disguise. Like I had a lot of fun, but also just realizing like I can't live here.
Wow.
This is
So
just
Toronto's not your calling?
Toronto is not my calling
No,
either.
I hate Toronto.
Had a bad experience. I traveled. I guess my greatest adventure was I traveled by myself the first time last summer.
Oh.
So I flew from Newfoundland to Toronto and then was supposed to take the train to Windsor. And it was going very smoothly. I was like, this is great. Like, I'm flying
I
by
can
myself.
do this.
This is awesome. And then I get to Toronto, and then it's like, this is when the problems start to arise, right? So I got to Union Station from the airport, and I'm walking to the concourse, and the police are, like, shutting the doors and locking them. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And so I started asking employees, and they're like, oh, it's probably some kind of emergency. So I text my parents, I'm like, they're locking the doors? I don't know what to do. So my dad looks on Twitter, he's like, there's a suspicious package, like bomb threat, in the Via Rail concourse. I'm like,
Adventure!
adventure! I was like, this is awesome.
Not?
Not.
Yeah.
So stressful.
Scary.
So, I mean, I survived. I think they only shut it down for like a couple hours, and then I was good to go.
Okay.
My train, I didn't miss my train, so that was
Well,
good.
there we go. Yeah.
But
that's good.
still, I was like, nope, can't live here.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah, too busy.
Too busy.
Talk about cold and
cold, expensive, right?
expensive. Yeah,
So
not
yeah,
my
that's-
scene either.
That would be my first hope and dream, find a fulfilling career, like something
Cool.
that brings meaning.
Yep.
I want to get married and have kids, and then
How many kids do you want?
2 or 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want like a ton of kids,
Yeah.
but I don't want to have like just one if possible. So I think 2 or 3 would be
Nice.
ideal. And then I want to like travel. I love
Good.
traveling.
Yes.
So.
I hate traveling.
You really?
I do it because I love my husband and I love my daughter, but yeah, no. We're on to almost the last page here, sister.
All right.
It just says, before we finish, anything you want to add? Anything you want to add? Go ahead if you have anything to add.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I think this was
We
good.
could probably talk for a while.
Yeah, probably good.
This is great.
It
This
is.
has been great.
It has been.
And I
yeah.
loved getting to know you more.
Yeah.
And I think this was a real good fit for an old person and a young person. And
Yeah.
not so old,
No.
very nicely young. Yeah. When I think about, being in your shoes at 19 and looking so far ahead, what are my hopes and dreams?
Yeah.
I never, it's so different,
It is.
Yeah.
Different
And
perspective.
oh yeah, in a different
Yeah.
world now.
Yeah.
The social media
Oh,
and I was 50 years old before I had a cell phone.
Yeah. And
Can
now
you
the
imagine?
pressure's on. Like, I mean, it wasn't too bad for me, but like, I know kids like nowadays, it's like you don't have a phone when you're 13.
Yeah.
It's like.
Lily, our little granddaughter who's 4, has an iPad that she
Yeah.
calls Grandpa and Lolo on,
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
times are different.
Very different.
Yeah. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us.
Yeah,
And
thank you for
I
having
hope
me.
that other people get something out of this and enjoy this process of an intergenerational interview.
Yes. for
Thank
sure.
you.
Thank you.
Wasn't that a lot of fun, just hearing about 2 lives, and I'm very grateful that I was able to share my story and Alyssa as well. So thank you for joining us tonight, folks, and we want to give a special thank you to New Horizon Senior Program. Have a great evening. Thank you.